Um,
Thank you, sir.
Let me first thank General Murthy and Kasa for giving me this opportunity to share my views on the subject. And I congratulate Kasha on his second anniversary. Um I've been given four subtopics to speak on. One is the impact of Taliban takeover on the terrorist groups globally, impact on the Indian youth, and particularly in J&K, whether we'll have more number of youth joining militancy. Third is the likelihood of surplus terrorists being redirected toward J&K. And the fourth one is our options. Now, coming back to the first one, impact of Taliban takeover on global jihad on other terrorist groups. Now, we can take this from cue from how people have reacted. Now, we know that Al Shahab in Somalia celebrated it by distributing sweets. In Yemen, contesting groups belonging to both Sunni and Shia persuasions celebrated this with gunfire throughout the night. Al Ahrar, Jabhat al Nasra, etc., from Idlib celebrated it. And speakers, particularly the religious scholars, one, for example, that comes to mind is the one who spoke in a mosque in Jerusalem, who congratulated Taliban and said that they have been an exemplar for the Ummah. And he then also, interestingly, suggested that they should take on Pakistani government, remove them from the job, and then come to Jerusalem to liberate Jerusalem. Uh, the Egyptian scholar living in Istanbul spoke very strongly in favor of this, Ummah rising in revolt and making use of this victory of Taliban or America. But when we see all this, we also see that the major effort of congratulating Taliban and gloating over the success is directed against America. They have almost all speakers have you know spoken about humiliation of America, and I think that's the common theme running through all their comments, which also, of course, has been spoken about by the Chinese media, by Chinese spokespersons. Russians have shown their happiness. Iran has shown its happiness. And Iran, interestingly, in any case, has, after having seen America being humiliated and going out, will probably change its stance toward Taliban. Previously, they wanted them to get out, and now, once they have got out, now they come back to more realistic kind of a position, and they'll have to start looking after their interests there. Now, that was one part as to how people have reacted. But more importantly, when we analyze it, we see that the exemplar effect, the kind of morale boosting effect that it has on all terror groups everywhere. Message, strong message that has been conveyed is that a faith based organization which has strategic patience and which can persist despite losses here and there will ultimately succeed. And that they have defeated not just one superpower, but the second superpower as well. And that if the Ummah can join hands together and follow in a particular path, the Ummah will always succeed. Now, this is an extremely strong message, which in fact has the potential of rejuvenating even those terrorist groups which are presently not doing well, which are presently sort of suffering military defeat or something like that. They can lie low. Now, the most serious impact of that is going to be on Al Qaeda, because Al Qaeda for the last couple of years, except in small places like Mali, etc., have been what they have been trying to do is to build their cadres silently, quietly, uh, keeping them ideologically strong, but refraining from carry out any major operation. This is a major danger because even people in the Indian subcontinent, particularly in India in some states, in Hyderabad, in West Bengal, in UP, in Kerala, for example, who may be lying as sleeper cells presently, they can be activated at a given time. Particularly Al Qaeda, since they have been in cahoots with Taliban, and they have very strongly come out with their statement also very strongly come out in support of Taliban victory. surprisingly, of course, leaving out Chechnya and Xinjiang, but mentioning Kashmir, mentioning Levant, mentioning other places, uh, which shows that they have the designs. But at the same time, they are also being guided by Pakistan, because Pakistan did not want to annoy Russia and China at this stage. So this shows ISI control over Taliban and over Al Qaeda. So this is another problem that is taking place. Now the transnational organizations like Al Qaeda and ISIS have this potential to cause harm. Most interestingly, ISK, Islamic State Khorasan, joined in congratulating defeat of America, so with a left-handed compliment to Taliban. But of course, they gave prominence to the bomb blast that took place at Kabul airport, and saying in terms of giving the last kick to the imperialists and to the Western, hegemony and things like this. And they have in fact said that all of us, all groups from the Ummah, must therefore get after the Western interest and defeat them. Interestingly, even Hezbollah Secretary General Nasrallah also made a statement and showed this as defeat of Western countries rather than showing this as a victory for Taliban, of course. Uh, but undoubtedly, the psychological advantage that accrues to all these groups everywhere, including the groups operating against India and within India, is going to be phenomenal. It is undeniable. It's bound to be there. These groups have now, as we also see, um, the LET, the JEM founder, Azhar Masood Azhar, went to Kandahar to meet Taliban leadership to ask for their help in liberating J&K. Even Shaheen, the spokesperson, assistant spokesperson, he also said that we have a right to raise our voice in favor of Kashmiris. Let's also see as to what is ISIS, what is the position of Taliban vis-a-vis India. Lately, they have tried to project an image of moderate sort of a outfit. They have also said that we want good relations with India. Obviously, they have certain limitations at the moment. If India has a good image amongst the Afghan population, they would of course not like to annoy that population at this stage. They also know that they would probably need investments from India. They would need food from India because of the dire situation of drought and hunger that's prevailing over there. And of course, they would the situation with regard to their finances, where there is a run on the bank, and all their money that was available to them is frozen for the moment. So they cannot probably annoy India. They've also made peace with. They've also tried to make peace and buy some kind of legitimacy from Iran, Russia, and China by promising to them that they will not let the groups which are working against the terrorist groups working against these countries to operate from this soil, shelter there, or to get any aid from Taliban. So they've said that. But having said that, Taliban is not a monolith. We have Haqqani, like Dr. Tarakat had spoken about, most dangerous kind of an outfit. So they are there. Al Qaeda is there. In addition to that, LET and JEM have been operating from Afghanistan. LET, in any case, as you know, its birthplace was Kunar in Afghanistan. Even now, large number of LET cadres and JEM cadres have been supporting Taliban in this whirlwind that took place recently. So obviously, these people, the minimum that you can expect, even if Taliban do not openly or covertly support these groups, they will at least give them shelter. And if they don't give it, the 6 governorates that have gone officially to Haqqani, these 6 governorates in the east will provide space for both JEM and LET and any other group that IASI desires to train over there and to deny some kind of to provide some kind of a deniability to Pakistan, considering the world is focused on world will be more focused on Pakistan now, since Pakistan has lost some leverage, as many countries can talk directly to Afghanistan hereafter. Okay, coming to the second part, impact on the Indian youth and particularly in J&K to join militancy. The first part, of course, is the impact of sleeper cells, which are influenced by either IS or by Al Qaeda. They will be emboldened. They'll have more josh, as they say. They will have more faith in the path they've taken. And therefore, one can always expect some kind of problem now emerging. There might be some terrorist attacks in some parts of India. There might be greater sort of a mobilization, social mobilization of these groups. There might be greater interaction on social media and using secret sort of channels like Telegram, etc. And so one will have to be careful. As far as Kashmir is concerned, we must now go back to the time when Taliban were in power in Afghanistan last time. When they were there, Kandahar happened. When they were in power, Kargil happened, although I don't say that they participated in Kargil.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Do you want to take a minute to wrap up? Thank you.
Fine. Now, but at the same time, we know that Gulbuddin Haqmatiar's one of his, important persons, Akbar Bhai, who operated in Sopore in 93 to 95, and he was a battle hardened, and he created lots of problems for us there. Mustgul came from Peshawar as well that way. So what is going to happen is that a large number of battle hardened cadres of JEM, LET, and rebranded terrorists of any group will make an attempt to enter Jammu and Kashmir. With them, they will bring some more sophisticated weapons, which are available to Afghani group, for example, out of the American stocks. More expertise for IEDs, improvised explosive devices. Those will also be coming in. So we need to be very, very careful. Now, what impact it will have is those who have taken part in counterinsurgency operations would understand that people at large, try and favor the side which is winning. And if the terrorists can carry out some successful major operations in Jammu and Kashmir, there'll obviously be a larger number of youth trying to join militant groups over there. And secondly, since the local militants, senior cadres of the local militants have been eliminated over the last 1 year or so, the hardened criminals, hardened terrorists coming from Pakistan side will definitely provide leadership to these even local cadres over here. The only thing that I need to say is this, before I wrap up, is this, that we have very limited options besides being vigilant, not only to maintain a vigil on social media for terrorist groups emerging in other parts of the country, but not letting the people come in. So they might try to come in with larger strength, with larger number of weapons. They might drop weapons through weapon caches through drones, etc. But they will come as only those people can come whom we can let them come in. So we have to make sure that they don't come in. Besides using diplomatic and other leverages against Taliban to make sure that they don't do any khurafat, we must be cautious about Haqqani and other groups still trying to make trouble in India. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.